This conference will now be recorded.
We were there to suffer victory, days to die.
Good afternoon. This is Jonathan Evans, City Manager for the City of Riviera Beach. Here with me in the Emergency Operations Center, I have Fire Chief John Kurd, as well as Chief Joshua Lewis, and some of our command staff. This meeting is intended for us to update the community concerning Tropical Storm Nicole and some of the things the city has done and will do as a result of this particular storm event. At this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Chief Kurd to share with you what are fire rescue staff and personnel doing and what we're doing from an operational perspective. Then after that, it will be a presentation from Chief Lewis concerning PD, and then I will close out with some additional remarks and we'll be able to field some questions. So please make sure that you mute your lines, as well as if you have any questions or things you'd like for us to provide clarity to, please go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we'll be able to respond to those as best as we can. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Good evening, everyone. Just want to kind of go through a little bit what we're seeing with Nicole. We're starting to see some of the bigger bands start to form up just off of our coast, so we can anticipate weather deteriorating over the next hour and then getting progressively worse throughout the evening. We do know that tonight we are anticipating high tide at about 8:30, and that's when we should see the height of the storm surge. We are going to see winds increasing throughout the night. We are going to start seeing issues with power lines down. I want to remind everybody on the call that in the event you do lose power, you can always call FP&L at 1-800-4-OUTAGE. That's 1-800-468-8243. We ask that you not go outside if the power goes out to look around and see what's going on, as some of these power lines may be live in the backyard or front yard, and we just want to make sure that you all stay safe. We are evacuating Singer Island. At this point, evacuations should have been completed, and at this point in time, the Emergency Operations Center is asking anyone who has not yet evacuated to shelter in place. The sun is starting to go down, winds are starting to pick up, and we're starting to see increased rain and some standing water in areas throughout the city. So at this point, if you have not evacuated, again, we are asking you to shelter in place. Fire Station 86 is in the process of being evacuated. Crews are being pulled off the island at this point. I wanted to make a clarification on some misinformation that was pulled this morning as it relates to Fire Station 86 being evacuated due to flooding. That is inaccurate information. Fire Station 86, while flooding is a concern and has always been a concern at that station, we are evacuating, as we always do when there is a mandatory evacuation of Zone B and our barrier islands. So this is not as a result of flooding. Yes, flooding is a concern, but this is our standard operating procedure when an emergency mandatory evacuation has been ordered. As it relates to city operations, we have scaled back and terminated all city operations for the remainder of the day. We had crews out this morning. We had sandbag distributions going on in multiple parts of the city. We also had strike teams that were out, ensuring that loose items, debris, bulk vegetation, and trash piles were collected. We did the best we can to sweep the city, and we think we've done a great job, which will assist with our efforts on getting back to normal once the storm clears tomorrow. Tonight, we will have a strike team in place. We have increased staffing in both the police, fire department, and utility district. We also have a strike team in place to assist those crews being able to get to calls for service and ensuring that our major arteries and roadways are cleared throughout the evening. We also are anticipating to bring crews back at first light, and once conditions warrant, we will be putting all three strike teams back out on the road to do a damage assessment and to ensure that all roadways are clear of debris. We ask that you not go out first thing in the morning. Please give our crews time to get out there to ensure that the roadways are safe. We ask for your patience. We hope that you all stay safe and be well. That concludes my operational update. I'll now turn it over to Chief Josh Lewis from Riviera Beach PD.
Thank you, Chief. Police have been making evacuation notifications throughout the day. There'll be a checkpoint established at sundown. At this point, there'll be restricted access to Singer Island. Proper identification will be needed to enter this area. Proper forms of identification for residents, driver's license, valid identification card, utility bills, mortgage deeds, or property tax documents, city or county issued tags, and car registrations. Businesses, proper forms of identification would include showing ownership of a business, current utility bills, lease documents, or anything that identifies the location of their property. Officers will be deployed in all areas where evacuations have taken place. Anybody who has evacuated can rest assured that there will be a law enforcement presence in those areas to ensure their property will remain safe.
Thank you, Chief. And just to go over some very important information, we think that the biggest damage that we could anticipate is as a result of the storm surge and some of the inclement weather that we will see coming into the region. The ground is already saturated. We're anticipating to see wave action that is anywhere between 20 to 26 feet and looking at a storm surge of anywhere between 3 to 5 feet. With that information, we anticipate that you will have salt water that will actually cover portions of North Ocean. Staff has been at those low-lying areas trying to address any trash, waste, or debris that may have been obstructing any storm drains. We ask for persons do not go into any standing water, and any time you go to an intersection that is not signalized, please treat it as a four-way stop or if power is out. We will be bringing essential and essential adjacent staff tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are keeping a strike team that will be working throughout the night when conditions are okay to be able to address immediate issues. We will be opening city operation for limited services at noontime tomorrow, so most of city personnel that is scheduled to work on Thursday will be back at their respective positions. Currently, City Hall is closed, and we have provided for an extension concerning water or wastewater services. There will be no disconnects for at least the next week. We've canceled all non-essential operations. We have no CRA, City Council, or Advisory Board meetings that will be taking place over the next couple of days. If there is issues with regards to water utilities during the storm, please contact our water department at 561-845-4187, or for any non-emergency calls, please call our police department at 561-845-4126. Also, later on today, we will be posting information concerning solid waste services. We are going to hear at around 4 o'clock or 4:30 from the Solid Waste Authority with regards to services being provided, but that will be information that we will be forthcoming. But at this particular moment, we haven't received that information. So if your solid waste services are anticipated to be collected on Thursday, please watch our social media channels as well as look at Channel 18, and please subscribe to Code Red because we will be pushing out information concerning solid waste services, whether they are restored or whether they are going to remain closed for tomorrow. One of the things that I think is very important, and we'll also drop this in the chat box, is we will staff a 24-hour hotline this evening and into the early parts of the morning. The number for that is 888-697-4843. We will have a city staff person that will be able to answer any questions, concerns, or items that you may have as a result of the storm. If there's things that you would like to report to those individuals, they will assist. We will also have command staff present, so any concerns or issues that come up during the early hours of the morning or later on this evening, let us know, and we'll make sure that we make it a priority for our strike teams that will be deployed in the morning. Again, there is more than adequate capacity at the shelter here in our community. Mary McLeod Bethune Elementary is open and has adequate capacity. The last information we got from the countywide on the shelters is that they have the capacity for about 17,000 and the number of persons that they had sheltering was roughly about 3,500 to 5,000. So there is more than adequate capacity. Also, if there is concerns for a pet shelter, there is a pet shelter that is available. That's west of Boynton Recreation Center, 6,000 North Boulevard. That is a pet shelter if persons are looking to shelter with their pets. We want to make sure that if you are at your home, that you stay off the roadways. The weather here is going to get incrementally worse between now into the early parts of the morning. We expect weather conditions to improve probably by 3 a.m. on Thursday. Please take this information, share with your neighbors. And one of the things that if you all can assist us, we know we have many residents in our community that may not be watching this broadcast, may not get this information. Let's check on our neighbors. If there's persons that are special needs or individuals that may have mobility issues, please call that line and let us know. At the first available time, we will deploy appropriate resources to check on persons in our community. One of the things that we also did is in those areas that were scheduled for evacuation, we had staff go ahead and canvass those particular neighborhoods, knocking on doors, telling folks about what to anticipate and what to expect. Most individuals chose to shelter in place, and so we're just making sure that you charge your cell phones, that you filled up your vehicles, and that you remain safe and do not exit your home to go out and see or assess damages until the sun does come up. At this particular moment, that concludes our particular report concerning Tropical Storm Nicole. We anticipate it to be a hurricane when it does hit our community. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments persons may have in if you can raise your hand and we can go ahead and address those questions, or if there's any questions in the chat box, we will attempt to address those questions as well. Mr. Bailey, can you assist us in that?
Yes, you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you would like.
And if you can state your name as well. And do we have any questions on social media? All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for being on the call. We will be pushing out additional information to the community, probably first thing in the morning as more information is available to us. But again, for the group's edification, if you want to talk to a live staff person throughout the storm to hear real-time updates or communicate with us what you're seeing, please do not hesitate to call 888-697-4843. And that information will be posted on social media, will be put on our crawl, and staff will be able to assist as much as possible throughout the duration of the storm event. And we will be pushing out information concerning solid waste services as quickly as possible. Thank you, everybody. Please remain safe, and we'll see you on the other side of this.
This conference is no longer